very, very important aspect of the conspiracy world. And it's something that you're going to have a hard time finding videos on, which is a hint that it's very, very real and very, very important to the so-called elites. I don't like calling them that, but that's what people call them. And it is, of course, Project Bluebeam. Now, when it comes to Project Bluebeam, it's important to understand that nobody has all the puzzle pieces, okay? I've done 20-something years of conspiracy research, and this is what I have to say about it, okay? A lot of people don't know what it is, or they don't have a full understanding of what it is, and they just kind of smile and nod their head and play along as if they know what it is, because no one wants to ask questions because people are very prideful. So, for those of you who have never heard of Project Bluebeam, basically, there was a man back in the 90s, his name was Serge Monast, okay? And he wrote a good book, called Project Bluebeam. And he had nothing to gain by writing this, okay? And everything to lose. And he did lose everything. His children were taken for being homeschooled, and being homeschooled wasn't a crime. He was arrested for spreading false information, and just after leaving the jail, ends up having a heart attack. So he died under very suspicious circumstances, and I think a 2-year-old could see through the story and see what happened to him, okay? This man also predicted the outbreak and electronic money, okay, and many other things as well. Now, according to this man, he says that space agencies, NASA particularly, is nothing more than Project Bluebeam, okay? And that everything they say is a big crock of shit, and that they're there to do a massive conspiracy of the world. For what reason? Well, you see, in the Bible, it talks about the persecution of the believers of the Bible. So the idea of NASA is to basically get rid of all religions, especially the Bible. And they're going to do this by, step one, creating earthquakes. When they create these earthquakes, they're going to find, supposedly, all of these things that are going to disprove the world religion. So they're going to create doubt in everyone's mind. And I'm going to add a little something to this. Because the occult already fully controls the hierarchy of all these religions, the hierarchy is going to go along with the findings of Project Bluebeam, okay? A little something I added on there, but it will happen. So they're going to create this doubt in everyone's mind. Then, this is where I'm going to start sounding real crazy, okay? There's a firmament in the sky, okay? Using satellites, using the reflection off of the firmament, this is just my understanding of it, using boats and using places on land and using submarines, they're going to be able to create a hologram. Now, I know that sounds out there, but it's actually not. You can actually buy a device on eBay and create a hologram right inside your house, okay? So imagine what all the world powers coming together could accomplish. And the idea, people speculate, okay, some say that they're going to put a Jesus above the United States, okay, which actually would line up with prophecy a little bit. And they're going to put a Muhammad above the Middle East, and so forth. So each major religion is going to have their God as a hologram above them. And, you know, I can only speculate that hologram would say something along the lines of, just obey the bagel people, or something like that. You know, who knows? You know, I can only imagine that's what it would say. But so some people believe that that's how they are going to control the world, okay, is by these holograms. Other people believe that the holograms are actually going to merge. So Jesus is going to merge with Muhammad, and Buddha's going to merge in there, and all the other freak gods are going to merge in together with our hologram of our Messiah, which I'm sure will be white, and this is going to merge together into one God, and then that God's going to do away with all the religions and try to bring everybody together that way. So that's one theory about Project Bluebeam. Another theory about Project Bluebeam, which seems to make a little bit more sense, because of the programming that we've seen with the alien invasion, and we've seen the mainstream media constantly talk about UFOs, and with Ronald Reagan and the speech he did, we're all familiar with it, you know, if I think what the world needs is for an outside invasion to come, and we would quickly forget our differences and come together as one. So the idea of all of this, I'm going to go off a little bit, is to bring the world back together. See, at once we were one before. We created the Tower of Babel to fight against God. He scattered us. Satan wants to bring us back as one again to fight against God again. Give you a little bit of gist. We're going to get back on the topic, okay? So then, if they are able to create these holograms in the sky, another theory about this is that they're going to create a fake alien invasion. And what will happen is when people see UFOs above their heads, they're all going to be wanting to be safe. And the U.S. government and the government everywhere else is going to say, you know what, we can't all be safe unless we unite as one against this alien threat. And the people who buy into these holograms actually being real UFOs are going to beg for the New World Order. They're going to love to give all their rights up, and they're going to say yes, 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 yes. And then once they're all in FEMA camps, all of a sudden the UFOs just disappear out of the sky, and next thing you know, you're all getting beheaded. And things like this. So, you know, that's how that's going to go. Of course, there's going to be some of us who are going to see through the bullshit, but most people won't because they don't read the Bible. So another thing about this is direct energy weapons. Okay, so how are all countries going to be in on this? Okay, well, we know the major ones are in on it already, but we know there's other countries who really don't want nothing to do with the United Nations. Now, what's going to happen to them? See, they have something called direct energy weapons, and when two direct energy weapons meet, it creates heat signature and a glow. Okay, and that can actually appear on radar as being a big threat. Okay, so what they're going to be able to do, these countries, is they're going to be able to put a bunch of what's going to look on radar like a bunch of jets or a bunch of boats or whatever coming toward their country. This country's going to rush to that side of their country to fight these holograms, and then the real jets and things are going to come in from the other side of the country and annihilate anyone who's not going along with what the New World Order agenda is. So that's another thing that Project Bluebeam can be used for, is getting anybody who's in the New World Order's way out of the way. Okay? Then the next step to this is going to be to broadcast messages into people's heads. Okay? Messages saying things like, I'm your God. Take the mark, it's okay, something like that, okay? And if you think that that's far-fetched, well, you're very naive, okay? It's ELF, VLF, and LF waves, okay? They're basically microwaves, and they're all around us already. And what people could do with these things, it can actually be done the other way around. People can use technology to control a piece of technology. They can use their brain to make a dog walk across the freaking yard and shit. Well, that can be reversed. And so basically, it's kind of like a voice to skull thing, where basically you're going to hear what most people, maybe not me and you, but most people are going to hear what they believe to be their God in their head, telling them to go along with these things. So this is the final step in the final way that Project Bluebeam is going to be implemented, at least so us crazy conspiracy theorists say. Now we can look back and we can see that a lot of these things that Serge Amanos said are taking place. Okay, mind you, in the mid-90s, these things didn't exist yet. So how this man knew these things, he must have had some sort of inside source. And, you know, this video, it was very important. Nobody knows for sure what Project Bluebeam is, what these people are doing. This just gives you an overview of a crazy conspiracy whack job loser who's been at this a very long time. Okay, the information I presented to you was fairly accurate and is pretty consistent with other people who I've seen try to do this. Like I said, they've taken down every single video on this. It's very, very difficult to find a video on this topic, and no one has the answers. It's not like the New World Order is going to come out and tell us about this massive, major, horrible plan that they have for all humanity. But it does seem to make sense with all my other research. And so if you understand what Project Bluebeam is, all of a sudden, a lot of other conspiracy theories are going to start to make sense on a whole when you have an understanding. And my whole reason that I do this, and the whole reason that I tell you these things, isn't because I want to depress you. It's because I want you to be able to see these things coming. Okay? And had you not watched this video today, there's a good chance that you might